Thank you so much for being here today. It is such an honor to have you here and to have the director of the documentary that we're going to show today here with us. Before we start our session, I would like to read the land acknowledgements. That is the practice that we do here at UAS in every event. Our campuses reside on the unceded territories of the Akwan, Tanta Kwan, and Shitka Kwan on Linkidani, also known as Juneau, Ketchikan, and Sitka, Alaska. We acknowledge that Tlingit peoples have been stewards on the land on which we work and reside since time immemorial. And we are grateful for that stewardship and incredible care. We also recognize that our campuses are adjacent to the ancestral home of the Kadas and Tsimshian, and we commit to serving their people with equity and care. We recognize the series of unjust actions that attempted to remove them from their land, which includes forced relocations and the burning of villages. We honor the relationships that exist between Tlingit, Kadas, and Tsimshian people and their sovereign relationships to their lands, their languages, their ancestors, and future generations. We aspire to work toward healing and liberation, recognizing our paths are intertwined in the complex histories of colonization in Alaska. We acknowledge that we arrived here by listening to the peoples from the past, and these stories carry us as we weave a healthier world for future generations. So today's event is one of the many events in the series of events related to the Waging Peace exhibit that I hope that you will all see in the main library space, and as well as a smaller exhibit in the room next door. Today we're going to show the documentary Sir No Sir, and we will have a discussion with the director of the documentary. I think I'm going to give the floor to the director to give us the introduction of the documentary and some context. After the showing, he will come back and have a Q&A session with us. But before, sorry, I can't give you the floor yet, David. I need to introduce you a very accomplished documentary filmmaker. David Zeiger, is that how I say your last name, David?
Yeah, yes, you got it. Right, thank you.
David Zeiger has been making documentary films and series for 25 years, starting with The Band, a film about his son's junior year in high school, broadcast on the PBS series POV in 1997. That was followed by the landmark 13-part series, Senior Year, in 2002 by PBS. Senior Year was a national presentation by PBS. His short documentary, Funny Old Guys, was broadcast in 2002 by HBO. His 2006 film, Sir No Sir, ran in theaters in 65 cities throughout the US and Canada, and was broadcast in 200 countries worldwide, including on BBC, Storyville, ARTE France, ABC Australia, and the Sundance Channel in the US. It won Best Documentary at the Los Angeles Film Festival and Hamptons Film Festival, and Seeds of War Award at the Full Frame Documentary Festival, along with nominations for an International Documentary, Independent Spirit, and Gotham Award. Let me present to you, Director David Zeiger.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you who have come to see the film. I really appreciate that. This film's been out for a long time, but it still resonates, and that's a very, very good thing. It's the best you can hope for from a film that you made. Since the Vietnam War ended, there have been 200 films produced out of Hollywood about that war and that time. Most of them centering on GIs and veterans. What you're going to see in this film, not one bit of what is in this film has ever been in a film out of Hollywood about the Vietnam War. And that's not an accident. The story of the very intense and very widespread opposition to the war among GIs, active duty, in Vietnam, in the United States, in Europe, in Japan, has been, which was widely known at the time, has been very actively suppressed by, on a number of different levels. And we can talk about that more after you see the film. But I just wanted to kind of give you that sense that the story here is something that that even all the way from very right wing to liberals like the PBS filmmaker who made a series about Vietnam very recently, Ken Burns, have literally ignored, and I think you'll see why when you see the film. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy it. One note before you see the film: there are scenes in it of fairly intense violence in the Vietnam War, which could be very disturbing, and I just want you to know that before. But this film is not focused on that. This film is focused on the opposition to all of that emerged among the GIs themselves. I was part of that. I was not in the military. I was a civilian anti-war activist, and I worked with GIs at Fort Hood, Texas, at the Oleo Strut, which is a coffee house that you'll see in the film. So we can talk about all of that, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about the film after you've seen it, and enjoy.
Thank you, David. All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
so hold on, I have to stop the stream
Okay.
and
program is in living color and has been rated X by the Vietnam Academy of Magazine. This is radio first terminal, operating on Dave Rabbit's own frequency at 69 megacycles on your FM dial. The purpose of this